Betsey, thank you again for being here and sharing your work and your experiences.
Oh, well, thank you for having me back again.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of fun.
It is.
So let's talk about a couple things. First of all, let's talk about your books.
Okay.
You've got a bunch of them.
Yes.
I do. My husband keeps saying they're just pouring out. I think I've just held back all these years, and suddenly everything's just pouring out. But my latest book is Communicating with the Other Side, like Teresa Caputo, the Long Island medium. And for those who don't know who Teresa Caputo is, then you haven't watched TLC's channel with the lady with the big blonde hair and the long nails and the crazy personality, but she is an incredible psychic medium, and she heals so many people. And we have a lot in common. I have blonde hair. It's not big like hers. But, I do communicate with the other side. And my other books, Angels, Aliens, and Prophecy 2, and that's been out for about a year now. Mystic Revelations of 13, which is some of the incredible things that have gone on with the number 13 that I've found. Just too many coincidences that, could be linked to the Illuminati, aliens. Mm-hmm. Just a lot of interesting information in that. And Angels, Aliens, and Prophecy, about my own UFO encounters, time travel. I cover cattle mutilations, which I investigated during the 70s. There's just a lot of information in there. In UFOs in the Mojave Desert, some incredible stories, Indian legends about UFOs there. And I do have 3 children's books out. So
you are busy.
Yeah, you are very busy.
Yes.
Very, very
That's
busy.
Awesome that it's just pouring out now, though. That's
it
pretty
is.
Cool.
Yeah, it's taken a long time, but, better late than never, right?
Hey, it's true.
Well, the book, the one that's coming out this year, Communicating with the Other Side, is that,
No.
Earth Energy is going to be available. Is that just about finished?
That will be out probably around the end of June or July, and that's about honoring Earth. I've spent like 10 years with Native Americans throughout the Northwest, going to powwows and vision quests. There were a couple of those, and sweat lodges, and the things that I've learned from 2 important spiritual leaders, Corbin Harney, who is the spiritual leader of the Shoshone Nation. He passed away in 2007. And then Ed McGaugh, who's still alive, and he's just an amazing spiritual leader for his people and for the rest of the world, too. He's an incredible person that teaches about the natural way. And I think that's something that we all have to get back to, honoring Earth again and realizing that everything has a consciousness.
Yeah.
And
I can't wait to read that. That's going to be an awesome
Thank you.
Because
I think that's something that we've all forgotten about, that animals, everything.
Exactly.
I believe animals have souls. I believe that everything, even a rock, has a consciousness. It's everything is alive, and that's what Native Americans and indigenous people have taught, that everything is alive, and to honor it through ceremony. And when I see all the abuse with animals, lately there's just been so much. And now Idaho, which really upsets me, they have this ag-gag law, which stops people from doing videos of any kind of abuse with animals. I don't know if you saw the cows, the dairy cattle that were being abused up here. That was just horrible.
So
that was
sad.
on video, and now they've stopped that. It's a fine of like $1,000 or jail time, which is just incredible.
It's crazy. Well, I'm shocked. We watched a video, and I could not believe it. They had little baby chicks, and they were throwing them in grinders. I was like, oh, my God, how does that happen?
That's something the Native Americans, they've always honored everything. And when you take the life of something, you honor it and you bless it. And, the animals that we kill now are just thrown into slaughterhouses. They're misused to
gosh.
It's just horrible. It's unconscionable what we're doing to our planet with everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is. It's sad.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, and then what we don't, like we look at the whole Fukushima mess that's going on. Again, now, of course, it was if you want to call it an act of God or whatever, with the earthquake and the tsunami. But again, I'm not trying to be a downer or anything, because I think there are a lot of modern miracles, and I think nuclear power plants, if they're built correctly, if they're put in safe places, I mean, if all of the right things are there, I mean, the science and technology is a wonderful thing, and it does benefit man. But sometimes I think we lose sight about, it's kind of like that ship that sailed on this same date back in 1912 that was unsinkable, and 3 days into the voyage it went down to the bottom of the ocean. I think a lot of times when we build these power plants and a lot of these things that we do, we think that nothing can go wrong, and
just as simple as like water bottles. You know what I mean? It's crazy how many water bottles are like when I got my because exactly.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much just pollution and horrible stuff.
And that's what I'm going to write about recycling, about the plastic, what we can do to get away from plastic. I think we have to, because it takes hundreds of years for plastic to
I don't buy bottled water anymore. I've got a filter. I filter my own water, and then I carry the same cup every day with me, trying to make a little bit of my part in it.
Well, every little thing helps. I mean, it does. Every little thing helps, and again, like you said, with the plastic bottles and all the trash, and I mean, we're what I kind of find interesting, and I don't want to cross the political line, but we worry about all this solar energy and all this, and all these clean energies, but yet, you've got landfills that are full of toxic materials. I mean, there's a lot of things out there that we could be doing things to straighten things out. I mean, there's a million things that need to be done. Clean energy is I think it's just it's just a little piece in the whole pie, and I think as humans we've got to be a little bit more careful about what we do, and but just like it has so many times before, Betsy, the Earth will in time it'll recoup itself, and if it means taking everything out in its path to do it, it will. It'll reset. The reset button eventually will get hit.
I've thought that too. Maybe we do need a reset button. We do. Where are we going to go? It's just getting worse. It's not getting better. I hate to say that, but it's true. And with the oceans dying, we're overfishing the oceans. Yeah. We've got bleaching of the coral reefs. Now they're dying. And recently we've had all these starfish dying along the whole western coast. They're melting, they say, and that might be from Fukushima. Yeah. But they're saying the sardines have vanished from the west coast. Fishermen are finding, the fish just aren't there anymore. Yeah. We've got tons of trash. I think, anywhere you go, there's trash floating out there in the ocean, and plastic bottles. And it's disease. After Fukushima, or after the tsunami anyway, we've got all that trash that's out there floating around. And of course the radiation, we don't even know the full story of what that's all about, what's going on. Because the Japanese don't want us to know.
No. And then you hear of some weird stuff, like I know a while back they were saying the fish were infected and people were getting bacterial infections, and it's just scary that one thing that when you talk about bringing how the waters and that are polluted, of course, this airplane, and maybe I get your that's on my little list of notes here, the MH370 airplane, the Malaysian aircraft that's missing. What's kind of sad is that, these satellite photos have picked up what they thought was aircraft debris, and sent all these ships out there, and what they're finding is it's just huge bands of garbage and trash that's floating in the ocean.
Oh, I know. Tons of it. I was watching something on the Animal Planet, two people that go to these remote places, and they're survivalists, and they were on this island, I think off of Panama somewhere, and they stayed there, but they said that they walked around on this beach. There was just tons of garbage there, which they used plastics and everything else that they found. And there was even a bottle that someone had put a note in there asking, if they found it. There was $5 in there.
Really?
Yeah. Some guy threw it off, I think, I'm not sure where. Oh, I think it was somewhere like Ecuador. Yeah, that's where he threw it off, a boat. And it traveled all the way over to Panama.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely unbelievable. So, getting back to your website, I was taking a look at that, and you've got a page on there called Earth News One, and people need to look at that. That's got you've pulled a great culmination of stuff together for. You've got all kinds of different things on there that people can take a look at.
Oh, I post earthquakes, anything paranormal going on that I think is really important, conspiracy theories, solar events. We've had a lot of solar things going on recently, and it looks like the sun's getting active again, like I predicted, when it gets active around this time, and we have earthquakes around that time, too. So if I feel that there's going to be an earthquake, I post that. I've got my predictions on there, too, on my website.
I was really amazed with the earthquake. I didn't realize Oklahoma was getting bombarded that bad.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And some people think it's the fracking, which I'm sure is doing a lot, but I think there's more to it. Mm-hmm. There has to be. There's just too many earthquakes going on there.
Do you think it's tied to some of these? Do you think some of it's tied to some of the solar activity?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I think so. I've watched the correlation, and there is. I was just going to go to my Earth News one and read that little part to you that this magnetic thing that happened on the sun that was so strange.
Well, I know
it was just a few days ago, and strangely, shortly after that, was huge earthquakes going on. So I think there's a definite connection between the sun and our planet and earthquakes.
Well, I know the sun has been. There's been some. It's been belching out a lot of crap lately.
It has. Yeah, it was April 2nd. There, I posted. It says, "Did a rare ripple in the Earth's magnetic field caused the 8.2 Chilean earthquake?" And there was just this strange thing that hit our Earth from the sun. So it caused this ripple, and it caused a ripple in the Earth's magnetic field. So I think there was a correlation there that it caused the 8.2 earthquake.
Right.
Of course, I'm no scientist.
No, you're just reporting on what you find.
Right, and what I feel. And exactly. What gets me are these scientists say that when there's a major earthquake and there's then another one somewhere else shortly after that and somewhere else in the world that they're not connected. I mean, that's like saying that our arm isn't connected to our body.
It's true.
Yeah. It's all connected. Of course it is. These reverberations of the resonance goes through the earth. It travels through the earth, and it's shaking the earth. It causes other earthquakes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I found the one thing what I found interesting. I was looking at was your. It's a link that from the government, the USGS, the earthquake site that is real-time update. I was amazed how much activity there is.
Oh my gosh, I know. Yeah, like you said, Yellowstone has had earthquakes there. There's been like Idaho and of course Oklahoma. Chile, since that big earthquake, I'm looking at it right now. There was another big one here. Let's see what that one is. Oh, my goodness. 7.3 in Papua New Guinea tonight. That
That's
just
crazy.
hit.
Yeah, unbelievable.
I'll have to check that out when I get home. My computer crashed tonight, but I'll check it out when I get home.
I'm telling people, beware. We're going to have big earthquakes if you're on coastal areas. Like I said, beware.
Do you see any of them? Betsy, in your area or our area?
You know, I do feel that there will be, but nothing like the South Pacific. That whole area, I just see some major things going on there. So I think that's going to be the next big thing. I think eventually, not this year, but I think we're going to see some big earthquakes in the Midwest and California. Not this year, though. I've had people writing to me, is California going to go? Is the big one going to happen? And I'm going, no, I don't feel it. There may be earthquakes, but not in any major city.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, again,
scary stuff.
Yeah, all you got to do is look at some of the. You got to do a little bit of digging, but look at some of the photos in the news and what have you coming out of Chile right now. And I mean, when you look at the big earthquake that hit Haiti, I mean, they're still rebuilding.
Mm-hmm. Right.
These third world countries, it's unbelievable.
It's sad,
because
they don't need that on top.
Well, they don't
of that.
need it. I mean, they're in a state of. They're in a state of poverty, if you will, to begin with, and the people are barely getting by. And I know sometimes when we think, Carol and I, and we've talked. You
think you have it bad because my computer crashes nothing compared to what they go through.
Right.
They love the computer, really.
Do. I mean, we do. We
so
think
exactly.
We think we have problems, and over in Haiti, I mean, there's still people living under blue tarps, and
exactly.
They spend the better part of their day to find a gallon of water,
of
clean water, so they can, So sometimes I think we,
Speaking of a rant, though, what makes me mad is the Kim Kardashian thing. I'm still furious about that. When she gets married, I heard on the radio.
We were listening today.
They're gonna have 200 guests.
200 people, and every guest is going to get a gift bag worth $250,000.
Oh
my
God.
blood was boiling when I heard that. I don't know who I can complain to about that, but oh my gosh, they're starving children and people here, and I cannot believe it.
Isn't that? It's just. Blows my mind too. I was watching 60 Minutes, and there are people in the South that have no health insurance. They have nothing, and they're in these mining areas, and they just can't afford anything. And there's this wagon. It's called the Health Wagon. These people, these two ladies that are nurses, come into this area. And they have this old van that's breaking down. I think they did get a little bit of donation to buy a new one, but they donate all their time and help people out for free. And I think of all the people with their millions of dollars, their billions of dollars, that they could help these people.
Oh, I know. Just one of those gift bags could help so many people that are hungry or need medical attention or something. It makes me so mad. Them Kardashians. Oh.
I know. And I think someday, it's going to turn around.
And what's sad is they're just playing off of their dead fathers. That's horrible for me to say, but, they would have been nothing without their dad's last name, so it's kind of sad.
Well, yeah, I know. And you see these big movie stars, and they go out and they do these auctions and stuff, and if you read the fine print, they're hoping to raise a couple $100,000 for whatever cause, but then when you read the fine print, they're going to give 10% of whatever it is to
charity.
It's sickening. It really is.
It is.
The extreme wealth of the world is sickening the way things are handled, and it just seems that the wealthier get wealthier and wealthier and wealthier and wealthier, and it is. It's sad. It's a sad state of
well,
it's out of balance.
If they were more giving, I think they get so selfish sometimes.
They are greedy. They're greedy, and the world is so out of balance right now. That's something that we have to get back, because I think that the Earth we mirror what's going on with the planet, and back and forth. It's kind of a symbiotic relationship that we have with the Earth, and I think a lot of these things and the way we think and our thoughts create a lot of the things that are happening on our planet too.
Yeah.
Thoughts are things.
Exactly.
So I didn't realize, Betsy, you're a ufologist too. Now you've given talks at the UFO Congress and stuff.
Yeah, there was one down in. It was actually in Alamo, Nevada, near Las Vegas. I did that in 2012. There were some interesting people there. I did a talk down there about my book, Angels, Aliens, and Prophecy. And
you know what's even more interesting when you go to one of those, and the first time we went to one, Pat said, some of those people look so familiar. And I'm like,
well, it was weird.
Like you've seen them somewhere before, but you wonder where.
we have a small group here in Salt Lake that meets, and a lot of them are listeners. And it was just interesting that it was kind of crazy, but we were sitting there and kind of looked around, and it was just interesting that there were so many different walks of life there, if you will, if that's the right term to use. And it was really, really interesting. I don't know. It felt like you needed to be there, and we were right at home, But you're interested.
But you did say you saw some people that looked really familiar to you, which was
weird.
Really strange.
Like maybe
you know what? That reminds me. I was living in Tucson a few years back, and no matter where I went, people started looking familiar to me, and it was just the strangest experience I've ever had. I know that I knew these people. Maybe we were all abducted, and I remember them on the spaceship or something. I don't know, but it sounds like you've had that experience too.
Yeah.
Well,
crazy.
Yeah, it seemed again.
I was
like,
surprising for Pat to say that because I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was familiar territory, I guess was the thing.
You've got some cool things going on down there. I wish I was there again.
Yeah. Well, come on down.
Come on
okay.
Down. No, it was just interesting. It was interesting to go to the meeting. We've been to a couple one big paranormal conference, but it is interesting to see all the people that again are like-minded and are open-minded, and But now with your study of ufology, Betsey, this has been something you've been doing all along.
Oh yes, my mother and I, of course. Back in the 50s, 60s, we called them flying saucers.
Right.
But we both talked about it. And when I was in grade school, I was looking up in the sky looking for UFOs. When most kids are playing with jacks and baseball or something, I was looking for UFOs. And I always believed that there were aliens. My mother and I talked about it all the time, and she talked about what was in the Bible, Ezekiel, and his description of what sounds like aliens in some kind of spaceship coming down. Not angels, but, aliens. So I always believed that there was something out there, and I still believe that there are so many different types of aliens visiting us. Some that are just observing, some that are interacting with us, some that want to help us. Some are benevolent, some aren't. We've just got a whole mix out there.
Well, do you believe, that's something it's kind of an interesting topic when you start talking about, we start mixing, if you want to call it religion and extraterrestrial life. Some people kind of take the stance that aliens, if you will, ETs are here to conquer the earth, and they're heartless and they're soulless and what have you, or they're fallen angels. What's your take on it?
Well, I think that we all come from the same source, if you want to call it God or creator or energy gestalt, or there is that energy, one supreme. I think in one UFO encounter that I read about in The Searchers by Ron Felber, the two people that were abducted in the Mojave under hypnosis, they said that the aliens told them that they were following what the One Supreme told them, and the One Supreme is God to all of us. So they do come from that source, and I think we're all in different stages of evolution. Some of these beings are so advanced in technology than we are, maybe millions of years, but they can, so many stories talk about them going through walls. They can manipulate time and space. It's amazing what they can do, and there are even reports that people have seen their loved ones that have passed away with aliens. And so I think that's kind of interesting.
It is.
But if they were going to take over the earth, they would have done it years ago before we had our technology, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
Figure.
Probably.
You don't know when you obviously, in your experiences, you talk about a massive silver disc, and then of course that seemed to that has put a chain of events in motion for you.
Right.
Do you feel that you were, I don't want to use the word abducted, but you feel that you were contacted?
Yes, I do.
Really?
My mother and I were both regressed through hypnosis in 1982-83 by Anne Druffel, who's well known for her books about alien abduction, the Hunger Canyon contacts, and how to, I can't think of her other book, but it's about how to get rid of alien abduction, So she regressed both of us in Los Angeles. She was working for MUFON at the time. And my mom described what she thought was a plane in the sky, and she was so frightened during this whole experience. I've never heard such fear. I wasn't there when she was being regressed because Anne didn't want me to hear what she was saying, so I wouldn't be, biased or influenced by what she was saying. But it was amazing. She was so frightened. She kept telling my father not to roll down the window, that there was something out there.
Wow.
See,
and I told a little bit different story. I actually saw us being abducted and being pulled up by a beam of light through the ceiling of the car into a spacecraft. Now, I don't know. I was 8 months old, and if I was just, maybe I've read all these different things. I don't know, but I described a blanket that was on me in the basket in the back of the car, and my mother had never told me about that. So there were things that came through that could be verified.
Mm-hmm. It is strange, though. Even though I just barely had my encounter of seeing something, I had, since I was little, I had these memories of, like, big black eyes. And it was really weird. I really never talked about them until we had a lot of people in the program. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. This happened. Because I used to be terrified of them. I mean, I said in the back of my back, we used to have one of those back doors with the glass. Mm-hmm. And I remember being little and just seeing them and being terrified. And one time I was sitting in the bathtub, and you know how, like, I remember that I don't even know how old I was, but it was like a little chip in the tub, and it just scared the hell out of me. I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, the black chip on the porcelain.
Yeah, it just like scared me. And then, like, the more things we went to a few meetings, and we went to different things, and people talking about, because when I was little I used to always draw triangles and stuff, and people would ask me about it. I never knew, and now I'm like, oh, this is a little too much for me. So.
Carol, I'm getting chills. I have a feeling you've had alien encounters throughout your life. And did you have nosebleeds? Did you feel that there was kind of an implant in you, or any kind of strange scars that showed up?
No, but I do have a thing in my leg going on right now that no doctor can figure out. I've had it like a year, and it's like a swelling, but I don't know.
There you go.
But I don't know. It's just, I have no idea, but it's kind of creepy, and I don't know if I'm ready to get regressed or not. So.
Well, they're not here to harm us. I don't believe that, or they would have.
Yeah.
But I think that they're here. They're studying us. I think, like I said, in some instances they have interacted with humans. There are stories of missiles being deactivated in the U.S. and even in Russia. And I think there was one story that claimed that they activated a missile silo.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Fringe Radio Show. Our guest and our friend Betsey Lewis is here tonight with us. Again, Betsey, thank you for staying up late and sharing all your work with us.
Oh, well, thank you. It's been great. It's gone by so fast.
I know it has. I was going to tell you right before the break, another weird thing that I never really, put two and two together is my memory when I was a little girl is kind of sketchy with a lot of, not sketchy, but it's just hard to remember things. I don't know why, but anyhow, when I was little, our family had a family ranch we'd go to, and we had family reunions, or we'd meet up there, and it was right. And I didn't really think much about it, but then when we started doing this show, I kind of talked to, about Skinwalker Ranch. I called my mom because I knew that our ranch was right pretty close to there, and it was right next to Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh,
And
wow.
my mother was telling me that every night, like when everybody would sit around the fire, they'd talk about what they saw the night before. So it was constantly seeing things out there, different things. So.
Oh, I'd love to investigate that area.
Yeah.
That fascinates me. Do you have electrical things that start happening for you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, see, I do that. I'll walk into a grocery store, and the lights will go out, or I'll be in a department store, and my husband will just shake his head. The rows of lights will just go out. Do you have that happen?
Yeah,
too,
I've
Sarah?
had it happen. I've had that, and then after people pass and stuff, I've had weird stuff. But so it's pretty cool. I need to start I did some meditation for a while, and I was trying to, trying to open up a little bit more. And I think I kind of blocked myself out for things, but I need to open up a little bit more.
Right. And I think you should try hypnosis if you feel brave enough.
Yeah, well,
sometime.
maybe I'll have you refer me to somebody, because I want to make sure I go to somebody that, that somebody trusts really well and stuff, and I'm not familiar who's kind of nowadays I could go to. So maybe I'll have you refer me to somebody.
Okay, yeah, I'd love to do that.
Yeah, we'll send you an email and figure out what to do.
Okay.
Well, sometimes it's interesting though. I mean, with the regression therapy. Now you had Ann Druffel, which we've had Ann on the show before.
Yeah.
Nice lady.
Oh, isn't she? She's wonderful.
She is, and in her attitude, or the way she talks and her attitude, you would never ever picture her having anything to do with this. It's
I know.
she's just sweet, but there's some people that they're a little afraid to do the regression therapy. Maybe they don't want to know, or maybe they do know but they don't want to hear it.
Right.
It's like stepping on the scale.
Yeah, exactly.
There have been people that have had bad experiences, and I wonder if that's more their fear or of something alien-looking, something that doesn't look like us. That can be pretty frightening. So I just wonder, if it's more of their fear taking over.
No, have you always felt like I've had a lot of paranormal experiences happen throughout my life, and I wonder if more people that have had contact and stuff, if they tend to have paranormal activity in their life.
Oh, I bet. Poltergeist activity, I bet.
I got told one time when we first started doing the show, somebody told me I was a poltergeist. I'm like, oh, thanks.
What?
Well, no, you
yeah, it was my fault. Sorry. No, I didn't.
Yeah, it was your fault.
Oh,
I
no.
did. I was like, really? I didn't know I was doing that. So I make things happen.
Now, when you had your encounter, Betsey, did you? Was it the hypnotherapy that brought it out, or did you? That's a question I've asked so many different contactees. When it was happening, did you know it was happening, or was it the hypnotherapy that brought it out?
No, the hypnotherapy.
Did you kind of have
No,
a feeling?
I didn't remember anything when I was 8 months old.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I've had so many things happen in my life that I couldn't explain, like missing time. And one time when I went camping with a friend, something really weird happened, and I think that there were aliens there that night. There was kind of like your experience, Carol, camping, and what you saw,
and then went to sleep. That's ironic.
Yeah.
I would have never. What's really weird is I'm not the type that would fall asleep that easy. So that's the only thing that scares me a little bit. And we both fell asleep, so that's a little scary, but. I don't know if it's scary, it's just weird.
Well, and the one thing you mentioned at the beginning of the show, Betsey, was, people that are seeing UFOs. One thing that I keep hearing, and you did mention this, is that people are now tending to see more instead of the traditional saucers. It seemed like it was the saucers, and then the big thing was the triangular craft, and that seems to be somewhat popular. And now, I mean, you see a lot of different pictures on the internet. I don't know if they're hoaxes or not, but there's some craft that just don't even, I mean, they're so odd looking, there is no description. But the orbs seem to be hitting heavy now.
Right, and I kind of wonder about the orbs too. They're so interesting. Are we seeing maybe 3D holographic technology? Are they really there? Is it something that our government is doing?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I still feel it's something alien out there, and people are seeing it. I think that incredible UFO sighting over Phoenix on March 13th of 1997 was probably one of the most incredible things that ever happened. People were out looking for Hale-Bopp, the comet, and people were outside, and thousands of people saw this UFO. And, of course, the military said, oh, it's flares, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think so.
Yeah, it's just really weird when you see something you can't explain it in the way. It's just strange.
Do you feel that with your contacts at an early age, do you believe that you have been contacted / abducted many, many times?
You know, I think I did. I felt that way as a child, and as I got older, except for that one event that was out in, you know, the camping in the mountains, I feel that it hasn't happened since then. I've had a lot of dreams and different things like that, but I don't know. I don't feel them. I know when they're in the area. I know when there's going to be a sighting, but no, I don't think I've been abducted.
I don't know why I was going to say when I said about camping, I don't know why I should be scared, because I'll tell you what, that was a good night's sleep. I woke up and I felt wonderful. So I guess I woke up. I guess it was sleep, but I felt great the next day. So.
Well, it was weird that you mentioned that too, because most people when they're out camping, they don't sleep well. I mean, the first night or two, I think a lot of people, unless you've consumed a lot of alcohol, I think a lot of people know, dip the marshmallows around the fire.
Yeah.
But I think that most people, especially when they're out camping in the woods for the first night or two, they tend to be a little apprehensive.
I even do that in hotel rooms. Yeah. I don't sleep very well
the
first night or two, so that's pretty interesting.
So they get a good night's sleep.
What do you think of, I know that you had some children vanish in the Wasatch, and they were never found. One little boy that just vanished totally. Do you think that there might have been something going on there?
You know,
I don't know. Have you ever listened to or read any of David Paulidy's work?
I haven't. No.
Yeah,
Tell me about it.
I believe he's retired. I believe he was a detective or an FBI agent, and of course his kind of claim to fame to the fringy type stuff was all his Bigfoot research. And then he wrote a series of books about missing people that go missing.
Huh?
Oh, right.
In national parks.
Yes. I've heard him on. Now, hasn't he been on Coast to Coast?
What's Coast to Coast?
Oh, you don't know? Oh, that's the big show with George Story that's been on. It used to be Art Bell.
No, I remember Art Bell. Yeah. No, I've heard. We interviewed him, and
did you?
Very interesting. But it's amazing how many people in national parks have just plain gone missing.
Now, what do you think? And you know, there was one story of, I think, someone that was hiking up a mountain. I think that was in Washington, and he had passed somebody that was on the same trail, and he never came off the mountain. He just vanished. They had dogs up there and everything. They couldn't find anything. And children that vanish, like at Lake Tahoe, they just vanish. And the dogs, you know, go next to the water, and that's where the trail seems to end, in the water. But where do these people go, and why is it happening in national forests?
Yeah. Well, I mean, are they easy pickings? I don't know. I mean, it was interesting because when we had David on the show, I need to get him back on again. His book does not talk about, even in the interview, he's very, very cautious about, when I brought up, alien abductions or whatever, he didn't want to talk about any of that because his book is strictly written from a police officer's, from an investigator's perspective. But the number of people is just, it's amazing. And I haven't had the chance to read any of his books. There's a series of them out, I believe. But who knows? Are people that are out there camping? Are they easy pickings? Are they easy pickings not only by maybe extraterrestrials? Could it be, government? Could it be people that want to experiment? I mean, who knows?
I know, just too many strange. And some of the stories of children that that disappeared in one area and ended up miles away, found on a mountain or something.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no way that they could have hiked that far. What takes them there? It's not an animal, and not unless it's Bigfoot, but I can't imagine.
Mm-hmm.
What a mystery.
It's really it's crazy. Betsy, the 2 hours went really quick. We've got to get wrapping up. When is your next book due out?
Probably the end of June or July. Earth Energy.
Gotcha.
And the website.
And your website is betseylewis.com, and people need to go check it out, and especially the Earth News stuff. There's so many cool. Whether you're a believer or not, just go look at all the cool links that you've got out there, and that's all real-time stuff. I mean, if you want to see what's happening in the world through the World Wide Web, there it is.
Right.
Are you doing any events this year?
I'm not, but I'm going to be on a ton of talk shows, plus my own Rainbow Vision network.
Oh, yeah. Talk about that real quick, about your radio show. Sorry, I forgot.
I've had some great guests on. A lot of them have been on Coast to Coast, but I usually do that on Wednesday, and I've got some great guests coming up. They can go to my website, which is betseylewis.com, and just click on my calendar of events to see where I'm going to be or who's going to be on my show.
Cool. It sounds
exciting.
Sounds
good. Well, we will stay in touch and get you back on again. And it's always fun to hook up with you and catch up with you and talk about everything that you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's an honor to have you here, Betsy. Again, Betsy Lewis, her website is betseylewis.com. Can they where can they get your books at? Where can our listeners get your books?
All internet bookstores, Amazon. They're all there.
They're all there for the taking. So I encourage people to go out and grab one of your books or all of them.
Thank you so much, Betsy.
Thank you again.
Okay, Betsy. Have a great night. Thank you so much.
Too.
Take care. Bye-bye.